Beverly Hills Cop 3, 1994. Apparently, every time a friend of Axel Foley's gets shot, it leads him right back to Beverly Hills to take down another criminal organization. Unfortunately, this time, John Taggart, action, and comedy have all retired, leaving us with nothing but a rundown theme park with stale popcorn.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Our Rating, the show where I get together with two of my friends. We take a movie franchise, break it down by movie, give it a score, throw it on the board, and see where it lands compared to the other movie franchises. I'm joined today, as always, by my friends Will and Brian. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Will?
Oh, I'm super fine.
Excellent. Now, this is our first episode in a couple of weeks. We did take a little bit of a break off, middle of summer. Everybody had a bit of stuff to do. Will, you were off on a trip to Newfoundland. How did that go for you?
I'm back.
That's excellent. That's all we really needed. And what a one to come back on. Here we have the third movie in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. This was my first time watching this one. I'd only ever seen the first movie before, so 2, 3, and Foley are all new ones for me. How about you, Brian? Is this your first time watching Beverly Hills Cop 3?
I'd never seen 3. I haven't seen anything else after this. So fresh out of the gates for me on this one.
And what about you, Will?
I've seen it before.
Oh, so this must have stung that extra little bit more.
Sometimes a little pain goes a long way.
Fair enough. Now, the thing with this movie, you kind of mentioned it in your opening, Taggart, action, and comedy all retired. I have mixed feelings on this movie because I think it's relatively competently made. I just think it makes the brutal sin of being really dull.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, the director was John Landis, who has made many film, but also kind of went through a dark period in the Twilight movie where he went to court for the death of a couple of kids. So, did he ever recover? It doesn't look like it. I don't think he's an action director, though. And we're just coming off of number 2, where we had an action director, the director from Top Gun and so forth. So I think the action really took a hit in this. The comedy took a hit because Eddie Murphy wanted to be a serious actor.
Yeah, I was reading something where essentially, he was a bit depressed because most of his movies recently had not been doing all that well. But also he decided, for whatever reason, that now Axel Foley is getting older. He's not a kid anymore, and now he's more serious. And it's like, but it's a comedy. Why would you make that decision before walking into a comedy?
Yep.
What do you think, Brian? Where do you land on the action comedy genre of this one?
This movie wasn't fun. I just the comedy was completely missing. It didn't even feel like they were trying for jokes in this one. So there was no comedy for me, and the action was just stupid, nonsensical scenes that just I don't even know. This one hurt to watch, guys. This one hurt to watch. Let's
start at the beginning, because this movie, all the Beverly Hills movies kind of start off with some sort of action scene that kind of kicks off the movie and the story all at once, right? And this one does that. The most action we get, though, is some mechanic doing a cartwheel while lip syncing to a song. Right? That was the most action I saw.
It was a really odd choice to have a little musical there before things got started. I don't really know where they were planning on going with that. It wasn't bombastic enough to be funny. It was just kind of weird. What is happening right now? But
it did set the tone for the rest of the movie, because I was asking that same question for its entirety.
That's fair. But this actually felt like it was a bit, whereas most of the movie didn't even feel like it had bits. It just lacked comedy entirely. I'm not the biggest fan of the comedy in the first two movies either. I thought the movies were better than this by far. But like, I wasn't laughing out loud at mostly any of it, but I could at least tell they were attempting for comedy and it was working for other people. Brian just mentioned like the jokes weren't hitting. I honestly don't remember there being very many jokes at all.
There weren't. Yeah, there wasn't really that many jokes. In two, in one, we had a lot of scenes where Foley was talking his way into situations and just kind of ad-lipping things, and it was very funny, and that's what really made that work, the freedom to do that. In two, they kind of like forced more of those situations into it, and it was okay, but it was a little over the top. And then in three, those situations were gone, and all of the kind of like ad-lib stuff just didn't land or didn't really go anywhere or just flat wasn't funny at all. And so I think like there were scenes when characters were laughing about situations and I'm like, dude, you've got a bullet hole in your chest. Why are you laughing? Like, this isn't funny. Like, you guys are about to die and you're all sitting around joking about this situation. Like, this, we're playing the wrong music. This is not like, I don't know. Maybe it was that thing, kind of like in Last Action Hero where, he's dying and then they get him inside the movie and the doctor's like, are you kidding me? This is a scratch. Get him on his feet. Let's walk out of here. Where in the movies, you can survive a lot more. But like at the end of that movie, like those guys were all shot up pretty bad and they're all sitting around clowning about it. Like one guy passes out. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's dying.
Yeah. Rosewood like actually faints and they just giggle about it in the corner.
Yeah.
It was pretty odd.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny to me at all.
I agree. Yeah. I think there was a lot of comedy written into this that obviously didn't come across as funny because the movie is just so poorly executed. I think between the director not getting the Eddie Murphy they thought that would maybe save the comedy in this movie, the numerous script rewrites and huge trouble they got to get a director, to get a screenplay, to get a budget. I think this thing was just doomed from day one. And unfortunately, it was made and probably made some money. So there you have it. But it did kill the franchise for 30 years, though.
Yeah.
Can either of you...
That Foley is the next one. Axel F is better by a pretty significant margin. It's not quite up to the first standard, but it's at least in like the 1 to 2 range. So I have high hope. Well, not high hopes. I have some hope that the next one won't be this. I did want to touch on something super quick. I apologize, Brian. Keep your thought. Okay. You mentioned the 3 cops being like shot at the end, and they're like joking and whatnot. It's very, I believe it's very famous that like cops, fireworkers, like first responders have very, very dark senses of humor. And that's kind of how they survive what they go through on a daily basis. Having worked in a jail for 18 years, I can say, yes, we have very dark senses of humor, but it's not like, oh, I'm shot. Like that felt so untrue to me. It's like, I could absolutely see them joking in that situation, but not the way that they are, where there's like, wow, you got shot. You're shot. It was so wrong.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, you're right. The way that they handled that situation was terrible. What I wanted to ask you guys is, do we understand what was the choice to make this whole movie play out in a theme park? Because this is Beverly Hills. Was like Disney World like just super hyped at the time of filming this? Was there a reason that they cast this in the theme? Like all of it takes place in a theme park. And I'm like, this is a money printing scam that they're doing in the back of this theme park. And you've got security people who are like heavily armed guys that are not what you would see at the security at a theme park. Nothing matched up or made any kind of functional sense to me. And then all of the like action sequences that happened in the theme park seemed absurd. Foley climbing on that little spider contraption, the effects were terrible, absolutely terrible. And then why he was doing it didn't even seem to make any sense to me. Then they're blowing things up with rockets at the end and popcorn's flying everywhere. Never mind the fact that everybody's got a machine gun and nobody can hit anybody until the very end. And they do that all with pistols, by the way. Like it was just everything. I don't understand the setting and how that played into the rest of this film.
There was one scene specifically, it made me laugh in the wrong way, like because of how poorly it was done, not because it was funny, where one of the bad guys is in the gondola ride or something, like half a mile away, shooting his machine gun at the straight-laced cop. I don't even remember his name. And
the
he's
Taggart
like,
replacement.
Stop shooting at me as I'm in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And he picks up a machine gun and shoots the guy in the gondola from however far away and like hits him in the first 3 bullets and he falls out. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, the cops always hit their target. The bad guys are stormtroopers. It was terrible
every time.
Yeah.
So the reason Taggart wasn't there is John Ashton, the actor who plays him, was signed on originally, but because there was so much back and forth, dropping of directors, fighting, Paramount didn't want to give this movie any kind of budget. There are so many issues with the script that when they actually got to filming, he was already signed on for a different contract for a different project. So they had to recast him. And so that's why you get the bit of, oh, he's retired. This is the guy who's now playing him. He's about to retire. You know, it's literally a drop-in character that's supposed to be Taggart. And you can kind of tell throughout, right? He's like the straight-laced of the 3.
Yeah, one line of dialogue to explain it away. I wish they would have just said he retired and like left him out, because this drop-in character did almost nothing in the film. He really wasn't even required. Or let's bring in somebody completely new and different and freshen it up then. Don't do this drop-in character who's supposed to fill that role. It was lazy.
I honestly thought that he was going to be a traitor, because he was talking multiple times throughout the movie about like this was his retirement plan, was to work at this theme park. Like that's what he wanted to go and do, and it didn't really make sense for him to be in the movie otherwise. So that's why
that would have been interesting.
Okay, like that would have been something. And then you even get a scene where the bad guy who's printing the money opens the door and he's like, "Oh, it's you," and he gets shot. And I'm like, "Oh, they are actually doing it. They're actually making this the reveal." And then, honestly, God, I don't even remember what the reveal was. I just don't care. I was like, this was the hardest watch possibly of any movie we've done. Yeah, because some movies are really good, and some movies are so bad like you can't look away. And this was the one time where I was like, I was on my phone constantly in this movie. I had to rewind so many parts. I'm like, wait, did I like when they're at the funeral describing the theme park and how they got from A to B on that is wild. Yeah. And I had to watch that like 4 times. You're like, am I missing something? Like, how did they just connect these dots? This is so stupid. But then like the next scene happened, I'm like, I don't care anymore. And I'm like flipping through my phone. I'm just like, it was rough. It was a rough watch. And I don't think it was incompetently made. It just didn't know what it wanted to be. And it didn't bring enough action to be an action movie, enough comedy to be a comedy, enough charm to be likable. It was just boring. Yeah. And that's really the worst thing I can say about almost any movie.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just kind of phoning it in at that point, and it shows big time. It shows.
And I kind of felt like they stuffed a lot of things into this movie because they wanted to kind of pump it up. Like there were actually a lot of stars throughout. They brought SARS, whatever, the guy that built a gun, the big toaster gun or whatever it was. They brought him back. He was a funny character, but he almost had like a new attitude. Serge, yeah. And he almost had like a new attitude in this because he was all about guns, and they kind of like changed his character a little bit. It was okay. He was still probably one of the better parts, honestly. The toaster cannon was funny, but almost in like a Naked Gun kind of funny. Like it was so stupid. Nobody's gonna put a boombox on their missile launcher / machine gun / toaster oven / tire changing tool. Like it was just dumb. And
his bit was way too long, right?
His bit was way too long, and they stuffed a lot of things into this movie to try and like pump it up, and none of the pieces really added any value to it. It wasted time is what most of it did. Like with Surge being too long.
Going off of that, I spent most of my time, because I did catch there was a couple of cameos in this movie. So I spent most of my time researching all the cameos that were in this movie, because there is a lot. There's a lot, and he was one of them. I mean, they brought him back obviously from the first movie, but here's some other names that you may have seen throughout Beverly Hills Cop 3. And you can all tell me if you saw these people or ask yourself, why did these people ever agree to be in this movie? One standout was Al Green, played the minister at the funeral, singing Amazing Grace. You all know Al Green, singer-songwriter, very good. Another was John Dante, who we know from Gremlins, the director of Gremlins. He played the jailer in the movie that is like, hey, you made bail. And then Rosewood stands up and he's like, not you. So that was director John Dante. Why is he in the movie? I'm not sure. And then there's some more obscure ones. Peter Medic, a TV and film director, known for Changeling, The Craze, and Species 2. He played a man at the corner. So very, very slight. Just why are they in this movie? Arthur Hillier, bring it on. Bring on the Canadian flag. Cleans Canadian alert. This guy is a Canadian TV and film director from Alberta. He was Oscar nominated for his movie in 1970 called Love Story. And he's done plenty of TV and movie direction throughout the years. And he was just playing a bar patron with a couple other guys. Another bar patron, Ray Harryhausen, was known for special effects. A lot of the Sinbad Sailor movies back in the day. Just all come into this movie for I don't know why. There's more. Don't
forget George Lucas.
Yeah, you ruined my joke.
Sorry.
John Singleton, writer, director of Boys in the Hood, Shaft, Higher Learning. Also directed Too Fast, Too Furious, which obviously we're going to be covering here on our rating soon. He played a fireman in the movie. The list goes on. And my joke was going to be, and then there was this guy named George Lucas, who's known for something, but I can't really remember what.
Sorry. Well, he played the disappointed man. I guess I disappointed everybody on that one. Sorry.
No, there's two or three other like famous entertainment-based people in this movie, and I'm just like, what is going on here? It's crazy. Even the theme park Walt Disney guy is the dude who played Scrooge McDuck for many years. That's who he was. Like
Uncle Dave.
Yeah, Uncle Dave.
Yeah, Uncle Dave.
And the guys who wrote the theme song for whatever this stupid theme park was called, Wonderful World or whatever, were the same creators of It's a Small World After All, Disney composers who have gotten numerous accolades for composing different Disney films. It's crazy the amount of talent that was seen in this movie without any talent being displayed in this movie. It's unreal. It's unreal.
That's incredibly well put.
Yeah. So that's what I did while watching the movie. Because
I appreciate that because that's going to add some time to the length of this video, and that's great.
I couldn't be bothered to enjoy the thing because there's not really much to it. I mean, really was, like you said, it just comes down to boredom. Again, at the beginning of the movie, like the initial kickoff that should get you amped is this like mechanics, and he's gonna raid them and save the day, and the action sequence is so bad when the bad guys are shooting other bad guys. They literally don't react to anything else that's happened prior. 10 guys get shot throughout this scene, but everyone's just working away until they're cut of, oh, what's going on? They get mowed down. Turn to the other guy painting. Oh, what's going on? He gets mowed. There's zero actual action or reaction in this movie. And it's so terrible. I just can't. I can't with this.
Honestly, the dance sequence by the mechanics at the beginning, I loved it. It was one of the best parts. It didn't fit. It was nothing to do with this movie. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. I enjoyed it. I thought those characters were interesting and funny, and I wanted to know more. They were like hitting each other, like, "No, man, you're screwing up my moves" and stuff. That was kind of funny. Had nothing to do with this film, and I don't know why it was in it. And then it switches to this shootout between bad guys and bad guys, or bad guys and more bad guys, I guess I should say, because like the car chopper guys, they weren't like super bad. Obviously, they're dancing. I think maybe that's what it was for. They showed them dancing and being funny and lovable, so you felt bad that they were getting mowed down relentlessly, because apparently they have like the world's best earplugs and didn't hear all their friends being shot while they were spray painting the hood of a car. Yeah, you're right, Clean. It was a terrible intro to the movie, which really set the tone of it. None of this makes sense. You're not going to like what happens, and it's pointless.
Now, I have to ask, did any of you actually feel bad that they were getting shot? Like, did the dance scene work for you in connecting with these chop shop workers?
Maybe the first guy that got shot, but after the third guy wasn't paying attention and turned around and got shot, I was like, you fucking deserve that.
Yeah, there was the one guy in the spray booth who did have like pretty hefty headphones on. I was like, okay, I can kind of get him. But everybody else is like, what's going on over there, guys?
But like, the guy who was sitting in the car with the windows rolled down, like working on the stereo or something, and he didn't see that. Like, what are you doing?
Just stay down. Like, I don't think they could have seen you if you just stayed there. Like, that's a lot of gunfire. I think we're gonna hang out here for a minute.
Terrible.
Now, the other thing is, it led into a scene where you've got, I don't remember his name, the detective, like Nick Foley's boss for the last 2 movies, and he shows up on the scene and he ends up getting shot, and we're supposed to emotionally connect with him, like he is the core for this movie happening. Like, this is why Axel Foley is sent on this trip to Beverly Hills for the 3rd time, and like I just don't care. Like, he was not a compelling character in either of the movies before, and he's kind of the jerk character. Now we're supposed to believe he was like his father figure or something and taught him everything he knew, and you're just like, okay, like this doesn't do as much for me as you think it would. And you mentioned Taggart retiring, and like Foley as to what, like, that was entirely for our benefit. That Foley goes like, oh, where's Taggart? He's like, oh, he retired. They're going on fishing trips and stuff that we've seen with them. Like, I feel like Foley would have known that his retirement was coming up, right? Like, that seems like the relationship we're left to believe after the 2nd movie. It felt weird that he's like, oh, I haven't heard from this guy in a while, but now I'm like super close with this guy who I hated the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Sergeant Todd even made a dumb joke on his deathbed there. It was kind of stupid.
It was just so bad. He was just like, Foley, you on a coffee break?
Yeah.
Get your ass over and get those guys. And then he dies.
And then they even bring that joke back up later on when he's like, yeah, his dying words were about you. And she's like, no, it wasn't. He's like, yeah, actually, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a really bad joke.
I understand that you were with him at the end.
Yeah, his last words were about you.
That does not sound like my Douglas, Axel. Try again.
Actually, his last words were, Axel, are you on a coffee break? Go and get that son of a bitch. Those words. Last words.
That sounds like my Douglas.
It wasn't funny the first time.
My biggest problem is that they just changed that character. He was this like loud, like police chief guy who was always up Foley's ass and like for all the right reasons in the first and 2nd movie. And in this one, he's just like, I'll just watch. You pulled SWAT. I wouldn't pull SWAT for a knitting circle or some stupid thing he said. And then he's like, oh, well, I'll just watch. He's not the same character, so you don't even care. Even if you would have at least given him a hard time, something that we know it's the same guy and we could relate and care about him, and Foley would feel worse because he's like, oh, damn, he was right. He's always been right. I feel horrible. That gives him motivation. Like, there was nothing. There was nothing, and that was like, at that moment, I was like, oh, I'm out. I'm out of this movie. There's no care for anything. And to double down, at the end of the movie, he doesn't care. He's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
He just finds Uncle Dave and he's like, oh, I'll be Uncle Dave's buddy instead. And then he gets shot.
So, yeah, it was interesting how I totally lost my train of thought. There's something there.
There was something there.
Oh, sorry. Not only did the detective's character change drastically, but like Axel Foley isn't the same character from the other ones.
No.
Like, not once does he like do that fast talking thing where he gets himself in or out of a situation. It feels like Judge Reinhold was the only person playing the same character. Like, we don't get Taggart. We don't get the Beverly Hills detective or chief of police. We don't get Paul Reiser. Like the only two people, well, of the three people we get, two of them are completely different characters.
Mhm.
And it actually could have been interesting if we get the fast talking comedic Foley, and that's what gets the detective killed. And then you see him grow up and be like, well, I should play more by the book, because you're right. He was always right. And I was always messing around, and it cost somebody this time.
Yeah.
That could have been an emotional core to this character and why he changes and tell that story. But instead it's just, he's just boring and depressed from the very get-go. It's just like,
you had lots of opportunities for characters to go through some arcs and changes here, and none of them happened. Billy was humorous in his new role, or tried to be humorous in his new role. Like, I still liked Billy was Billy, right? But he was in a new role, and they tried to do some jokes where he was like over the top. Like in 2, he went over the top with his guns, and in this one, he went over the top by commanding all these forces to go find that green van or whatever it was. And there were opportunities there for him to, grow up a little bit. And I think he should have been the one who kind of got grounded and kind of grew up, if not for Foley. I mean, Foley would have been a great choice, like you said, Dan. But if they're not going to do that, then let's see, Billy bring the right people in at the right time and do the right thing. Instead, we got Billy getting shot, making jokes about being shot, and it was stupid.
It would have been kind of interesting to see Judge Reinhardt's Billy, like he's been affected by his outings with Axel, and have him try to get himself in or out of a situation by doing the fast talking thing. I know that that's not really in Judge Reinhardt's like wheelhouse, but that would have been something.
Well, let's face it. If they would have done anything different at all in this movie, it would have been an improvement. What's sad is that there were competent people making this film, and it is still so horrible, absolutely horrible to watch.
Now, okay, I'm gonna interrupt you there for a second. You might have been done actually. I will die on the hill that this movie was boring as fuck. Sorry, boring AF. I don't know that it was poorly made in the same way. Like, we reviewed things like Neverending Story 3 or like Home Alone 4. Those are atrociously made movies.
Amateur.
Does this feel on that level with you? Like, I would say that this is competently made slop versus or competently made but boring versus those movies that are just like shovelware.
Aside from the special effects, yeah, I think this was competently made, boring, just terrible, terrible writing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, except for, again, the action sequences are all over the place. Like when he's on the spider and it's all green screened, like it's not good.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
He's like jumping from thing to thing. The skyline is pure blue sky. Then it's like light clouds swirling. Then it's dark clouds. It almost looks like it's going to rain. Like there's a lot of bad filming and editing going on in this. So is it completely competent? I don't think so. Was some of that done for the jokes that fell flat? Probably. But it comes together and just looks bad. And I think that's the worst, almost the worst part of this movie is got to be the action. And it's supposed to be an action comedy. They've all been action comedies. This one was more just a comedy that's not funny. And the action is just abysmal.
The action is at least present. It's not good, but it's at least there. I think the comedy just is missing entirely.
I mean, there's
mostly entirely. Like there's a couple of things here and there where they're clearly trying for something.
It's hard to say that, we talk about how comedy is different for each person. It's different for the viewer and everything. I'd have a hard time finding anybody that would say this movie was funny. Like I just don't see it. These were poorly written jokes, bad timing, bad taste. Everything about them was horrible. And then when you combine it with such horrible action sequences, when Foley has that stupid gun and he's trying to shoot those two guys who like shoot at him, and then he takes cover, by the way, behind like a bench made of balsa wood, which is not blocking anything, and they still can't hit him. It's a literal park bench with slat boards, and they're not hitting him with Uzis. It was ridiculous. And he stands up and he tries to shoot him, and instead it plays music or bakes a pie or something. I don't remember what that stupid gun did.
It played music multiple times.
Right, yeah. And they keep walking towards him, and they look at each other with this weird look that I don't know. They must have been extras with absolutely no acting career at all, because even the look that they gave each other wasn't like it looked totally fake. It looked like if you grabbed somebody off the side of the street and said, "Hey, I want you to give your friend a suspicious look." It was terrible. And this sequence went on for like a full 60 seconds of this nonsense until things start blowing up like crazy. It's dumb.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I think that was supposed to be comedy.
I know, it was supposed to be comedy combined with an action sequence, and neither of them land.
Right, because neither is good, but they tried to do comedy, I think, to cover the lack of action, right? They're like, oh, what's funny? He's behind this park bench that is literally slated and they can't hit him. That's
you
funny.
think that was actually the comedy part? I thought that was an attempt at the action.
If you've watched the other stuff this director's done,
tell.
It's like Blues Brothers. He directed Blues Brothers, which I think is a pretty fun movie. It's got a lot of fun jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, a lot of the actors, I think, carry that. But the action, the only thing the action is cop cars just piling on each other, right? Like, that's all there is for action. He doesn't know how to do action. So I think he covers it with all of these jokes. He's like, oh, let's just throw more jokes and more jokes on top of it. Let's have this big, ridiculous gun that plays multiple news radio stations instead of doing what he needs it to do. And but they just overplay it, so it kills both the action and the comedy, and the whole thing fizzles out. And Eddie Murphy wasn't there to charm his way through it. Eddie Murphy was checked out like so hard that he maybe could have brought this up maybe a mark or two, but he didn't even try. No. So I think it was.
I think Eddie Murphy's charm could bring this up quite high if he was like on his game.
Sure, yeah. If it was height of comedic Eddie Murphy, sure.
Because I would let a lot of the action slide.
A way different movie, funny. Though. I think it would be a way different movie then.
For sure, but I could let the action slide pretty hard if it was funny.
It's sure
because then you would laugh at these scenes as opposed to just being like not only is Eddie Murphy checked out, you the audience are checked out by the time you get to the scene with that ridiculous gun. Like, let's be honest.
But that said, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought to go back to Brian's part from a second ago. When he's like standing up and trying to shoot and like a net comes out and it doesn't even land at the guys, like it doesn't even have enough power to get to where they are, let alone do anything to them. And then he tries again, and then he tries again. It almost looked like the extras were confused, like the gun itself, like the prop was malfunctioning and he was supposed to have done something else to them. And they're just like, I don't know what to do now. Like, what do we do? Like, I guess we just keep walking forward. Cause like those guys should have shot him like 98 different times, but it was almost like the actors were like, that didn't do what we're supposed to do. Like, what's next? What's the actual scene supposed to play out like? I don't know. The whole thing was just brutal.
And even more bad writing and frankly, maybe not bad acting. I thought she did a decent enough job for what she was supposed to do. I just hated what they were making her do was Theresa Randall as the character Janice, who was instantly in love with Axel Foley out of nowhere, couldn't even control herself, stuttering at his sight. And Axel didn't even seem that excited by her. He was checked out of this entire movie. Man, if Theresa Randall gave me a second look, I would drop everything and give her my full attention. And his character just wasn't even picking up on it. I mean, until they finally got around to it. But like, she was over the top mad for him and he was not there at all. There wasn't much chemistry between those two. And then at the end, they're like, hey, yay, you're heroes, confetti everywhere. And she's like, I'm going to wheel you backstage, and starts carting him off in his wheelchair. And then he smiles for the camera. And I'm like, you guys had no connection this whole movie. This is dumb.
I don't remember what she says to him, but like it's like she dropped every pretense. She was like kind of being subtly flirty the whole time, and then by the end she's just like, I'm gonna climb you like a tree or whatever it was.
He's in his stupid elephant costume the whole time. That was a little bit funny.
He's like, how long has it been closed? And then she's like, way too long. And he's like, I'm talking about the ride. Like, I'm working here. And she's like, oh, yeah, it's been closed, too. It's been closed.
I wish I had that stupid elephant costume.
Now, we don't usually talk about what chat's saying, but somebody said, how much of this being rated PG-13 do you think affected the comedy of the flick? It was rated R. believe it or not, this movie's rated R. Just because it's in a theme park and all the comedy is for 10-year-olds, there's still F-bombs throughout this movie. There's still violence. There's still, innuendos, things like that going on. It is a rated R movie. It just doesn't come across as one because it is so foolish.
Yeah.
And the action is so bad that you wouldn't believe it. And so that's totally fair comment. It is rated R.
Before we wrap this up, is there anything positive that either of you guys can say about this film? Anything that you enjoyed? Anything that you thought was a memorable, positive experience?
Go ahead, Dan. I'm sure
Positive.
you have a long list.
Positive is tough. I would say
acceptable.
The shining light of this movie, as low of a bar as it is, was Judge Reinhold. Like, he was the one character who made me chuckle like once. Like, he was the one character who's still playing the same character. He's the one character who felt like he showed up ready to play. Did he do a great job? Did he have great lines? Not. It was fine, but like at least he felt like he was there for the movie that we were being sold. Whereas everybody else was just kind of like, oh, all right, well. That's lame. That's the best I can give you, but honestly, that's kind of the best I can give you.
Yeah, for me, it's similar. There's not a lot, but there's so many half-assed jokes. At least a couple of them did land for me, and it's like the stupidest stuff that you're just like, okay, that was kind of funny. Like, he's running past the train that's like singing this little song, and then the guards are like running past, and somebody just inadvertently but obviously steps on it, and the thing was like it like made a sound as if it got hurt by getting knocked over. Like, what is that? It is so stupid, but to be things that are that stupid are kind of funny. But the funniest part of the movie to me is at the spider ride scene where he's like jumping around and it cuts to the audience shots. And the mascots are there as well. And the mascots' faces are just so funny. Like, they handpicked these mascot faces. When there's one that's like looking up, like, what's going to happen? And at another point, they're like, one's looking down and covers the kid's eyes. It's like, it was pretty funny because it's like, there's nothing good to watch. There's nothing suspenseful, but at least the mascots are like so invested. And it was funny to me.
What about you, Brian?
Nothing. There's nothing in this movie.
Wow. You brought up the question. You have no answer whatsoever. Yeah, the music.
He was driving. Oh, the music was terrible. The music was terrible.
And you know what? If you guys, a lot of times on the Discord, you guys can show up and vote for these films. And we had this open voting session where you could just click your mouse as many times as you wanted and spend your channel points to vote. And I was pushing the button trying to get this movie over another. I regret that decision. I'm sorry, Wonderful D. I know you were pushing the button for the other set of movies. I don't remember what they were. I apologize. I regret my choice on this. I wish I hadn't done that. I'm very sad that I sat through this movie.
I think the other option was Naked Gun.
Yeah, we should have gone that.
The new one with Liam Neeson. I haven't seen it yet, but all the reviews I've been hearing are that it's actually really funny. And I'm like, man, the path we could have taken.
If the other choice was watching the paint dry on the side of my house, I think it would have been more entertaining for me than this film. I really really regretted this.
Amazing. Nice. Hey, we suffer for our art. That's the saying.
This is art.
And we are fully invested. So thank you. Thank us for suffering so that you don't have to. Right? Nobody has to watch this movie now because we watched it on your behalf.
Yes.
And now you know it's not worth ever watching.
And you know what?
First one. Stick with the first one. The second one's, it's okay. I guess
I like the second one.
If you really like the first one, check out the second one. And then we good. We'll tell you next week, though, if Axel Foley's worth even streaming because it's on Netflix.
It's free and it might not be worth it.
One thing I'd like to kind of push here at R Rating is that when we see bad movies that don't deserve to be, that their sequels were terrible, that their sequels are money grabs, and we tell you guys, don't watch this film, we mean it. Don't watch this film. We don't want to promote garbage like this. We want a higher quality of cinema, and I hope that our bad and negative ratings keep you guys from wasting your time and money on those films. and that you go, you move more towards the better films that we talk about, where there's actual talent, where there's good writing, where there's excellent special effects and practical effects that are used. And so I hope that you guys actually take to heart when we say, this is terrible, don't watch this. We don't want to see this kind of stuff being made again and again.
Well, some of us.
All right.
Dan likes his trash.
What? If you like what we do and you want to support us, go on over to Patreon. There's a link down below. Huge shout out to our sponsors from the executive producer level, Real Bubba Hotep and Dino. And from the new head writer section, Elder JM 990. Head writers are able to choose movies that we'll review on the last Thursday of the month, and we're yet to hear what he's got for us, but I'm sure it's a winner.
And thank you guys for donating. Appreciate that. We really do. Every little bit helps us, and we hope that we are giving you your money's worth and then some.
And I can't wait to get trolled and into watching just horrible movies.
So Elder Jam approached us about this tier, so he's clearly got a movie in mind. I don't know, like, so far he's the only head writer. He might have like 9 movies in mind if he wants to stick around for 9 months, but I'm curious what it was that he's like, that's worth $50 to me.
Oh,
we'll have to see. It's not next week, it'll be 2 weeks from now, right? Where's my calendar?
For the end of the month, yeah, the 28th.
So we got a little bit of time, which is good. But if you can get that, Jeremy, if you're still here, if you can get that to us sooner rather than later, so we have a chance to check it out, that'd be wonderful.
We'll shoot you a DM, Patreon fan.
Yeah, I need to make I said there'd be a special Discord section. I haven't even made it yet because I wasn't expecting anybody to jump on it quite as quickly as that. But well.
There you have it. All right, let's get into rating this beautiful, beautiful gem. Okay.
What can I say about this movie that I thoroughly didn't enjoy it? On my scoring, how I score these movies, we all score them differently, by the way. One of my categories is, did I have fun? And I gave it an absolute 0. I did not enjoy any portion of this movie other than the dancing mechanic scene. And I was so offended by the following shootout that it nullified that. And so this movie overall got a 22 for me. Our conversation here didn't change that a bit. I don't think this is a movie that anyone should go see. I don't think that you should ever speak of it again, and I hope it gets lost into the depths of obscurity.
Pulling no punches, and I love every second of it. All right, for me, this conversation actually did bring this score down a decent amount, actually. I had it a little bit higher because, as I've been saying, like, it was boring, but it wasn't that poorly made. And then these guys back to actually point out all the parts where it actually was poorer made than I thought it was. I guess maybe I looked at my phone a bit too much during this movie and I missed some of the things they were talking about. But this is one of those movies where there's just really nothing redeeming it. And unfortunately, you're right. Like the fun factor on this one is probably the lowest of any movie I've recorded for R rating. Even movies that I liked less than this movie, at least were like awful train wrecks that I couldn't take my eyes off of. This movie, I could barely keep my eyes on. There was just nothing drawing me back into it. And that's probably the worst sin, especially when you've got people behind the camera and in front of the camera that are as talented as these people are, to make something this bad and call it, a sequel is just absolutely rough. My score has fallen, not quite as far as Brian's, but all the way down to a 36 for this movie. I agree, though. Don't watch this one unless you absolutely have to.
It's almost worse because there's, like Will listed, all the talent that appears in this movie and is completely wasted. There's competence behind it. And it almost makes me more angry and want to score it lower for putting out such trash in the end.
That's a fair point, to be perfectly honest. Like, as opposed to something like Neverending Story 3, where it's like, okay, that one has Jack Black. Neverending Story 2, where there's really nobody of talent on screen or off screen, and you're just kind of like, oh, this is really bad. But, like, of course it was. Right? Like, of course. Or, Home Alone 4 is maybe a better example.
Yeah, Home Alone 4 for sure. I laughed at Home Alone 4 because it was so bad. I was like, that is such amateur, where they're decorating the tree and the camera angles and stuff. I'm like, this is the worst cinematography I've ever sat through.
But you're also not expecting anything from it.
Right, yeah.
Whereas, like, you walk into this one expecting...
I expected something. A lot more than I got on this. I knew it was going to be bad, but I expected way more than a 22 score.
Yeah. Well, Will, bring it home.
All right, let's bring it home. Yeah, this movie, what can we say that hasn't been said? Don't watch it. Wait, we said that. It's a disaster. It's not funny. Yeah, there's little to no action that makes any logical sense whatsoever. Eddie Murphy, he came back around. He got better again. He got over his little slump here. It's all good. And yeah, this didn't score high for me, and it definitely again I mark genre, action, or not action, acting, writing, direction, and does it hold up? And where this one fell flat the most is, does it hold up? Does it hold up to the genre? Does it hold up to time? Does it hold up to the franchise itself? No, nope, absolutely not. This is a stain, and there's a reason it killed the franchise for 30 years. This is a 20 flat for me. Don't go see this movie. It's hard to find, so you probably won't have that problem anyway.
And with that, we have our placement for Beverly Hills Cop. Not the complete franchise. We still have one more movie to go, but it has fallen pretty drastically down to being tied, actually, with Jurassic World. I wonder if Axel F will actually manage to bring it up by 1 point, so it breaks Jurassic World, or if it'll keep it sort of in that Jurassic World Venom category. This dropped by a pretty significant margin. I didn't check it out before. I should have. But it was up there. I think it was up there in like the 70 range, the low 70s.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty drastic and honestly completely deserved, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I'm hoping it stays above Venom because I really didn't like Venom, but that's just me.
I like it right where it's at for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea about Foley F or Axel F, so I don't know. But as for right now, I think this is where the franchise belongs. I enjoy Jurassic, and honestly, I like Jurassic World being placed above it, even though it's an equal score. I think I technically enjoy Jurassic World better than the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. Two different complete genres, but
I absolutely enjoy Jurassic World more than Beverly Hills Cop. Like, that's
it's
not a question for me.
We're coming off a horrible film. We're coming off a horrible film, so it's hard for me to try and be positive about the franchise after witnessing the atrocity that we just did. So, because the first two were okay movies, they were okay.
The first two, for sure,
they were decent.
I could see myself watching Jurassic World again. I don't know if I'll ever watch any of these movies again if I don't have a reason to.
Yeah, but
that's just me.
Although my playlist on Spotify did randomly throw in the theme song from this, dun, 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 dun. What's that called? Is it?
I think it's called Axel F.
Is it Axel F? Okay. Yeah. It put that on the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're just beating me over the head with this crappy franchise.
Was it the Crazy Frog version or just the original?
I think it was the original.
Okay.
But in full length, there's a snippet in the middle of this song that doesn't really make it into the movies, I don't think, because I was like, wow, that's a lot of xylophone they're hitting on right there.
All right, that's our rating of Beverly Hills Cop 3, but what's yours? I'd love to know your comments down below. We record this live over at twitch.tv/The Mongoolie Show, so you can head over there and hit the follow button if you want to hang out with us live, or if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that I see you in the next one.